I
gave
everybody,
that up years ago.
Welcome to Roll with Advantage. My name is Joe, and welcome to the stream this evening. So we're gonna dive right in. Everybody's here, thankfully. That is amazing. There are a few things that we need to address, but we'll do those after the intro, specifically for tonight's sessions. Let's go ahead and roll that intro and dive into tonight's episode of the Salamander Coast. No. We're back. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Alrighty. So we're going to go ahead and dive in to tonight's session. So as is tradition here on Roll with Advantage, I have my players do the summary. So this week on summary is... That's always a good sign.
Who did last week?
Me.
John?
It's
Right.
you, Felicity.
It is. Yeah.
I knew it. It's been me the whole time, baby.
It's been.
I just wanted to test you guys.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Anyway, back to, what was it? Book 6, Chapter 12.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a few watches that happened. And now, in the words of Mark, Keothi promised aid from her allies before they got to Periton, but warned Caracilla that Dravenhunt would be with them. She wondered if things could have gone differently with him. Natalia and Cecily talked about family and adventuring and the difficulties and joys of having both. Finally, Ajax and Suni had their first real conversation, summarizing their lives to each other and trying out each other's weapons. Then Bianca woke from her nightmare. The two confronted her as she realized that if the visions were true, her grandmother willingly made the deal with Isin for selfish reasons. In the morning, Bianca had another vision of dead, frozen people trapped by Ivana, calling out for her to save them. She swore her life to their liberation, weakening the frost curse on her. The group made a multi-step plan for approaching Periton and the tower. Ajax drawing out a map of the area and battle planning, but things quickly got complicated when a servant of Isin appeared at a crossroads, revealing that through Bianca he was able to hear their entire plan. The servant made an offer to stop investigating what Isin is doing in Periton, and he would pull his forces out of Damaris Keep, making it easier for the party to take it back from Ivana. The party denied the deal, thinking it best to not take any deals from a known liar and backstabber. The party sent messages to multiple allies and prepared to evacuate people from Periton, anticipating a fiend invasion when they arrived. Ajax and Bianca had a tough talk about refusing to let one another die, because that's not gonna happen. So Suni and Suna worked together to prepare a potential useful magical item, and Bianca addressed the sword's master by his proper name that she learned in her visions, Ilithar. She encouraged him to embrace his name again with honor. The party finally reached Periton and met allies, preparing to exchange as much info as they could before the inevitable reckoning.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Thank you, Mark / Felicity, for the wonderful summary.
Mark. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's
why I'm always here.
That is all right. So we're going to pick up right where we left off. Actually, before we do, there's a very, very important element to this session that we need to discuss first. So sorry, Temple of Life pleasant sounds. We need to change you out to something that is a little bit more appropriate. Okay. So I have already said to the players that this session was going to be a little bit shorter And in all reality, it's probably going to be considerably shorter than what most sessions end up being for D&D, especially for our sessions. Now, here's the thing. The reason I said that is just due to general pacing, right? Wanting to make sure that when the proverbial shit finally does hit the fan, you guys can just dig right in and we don't have to worry about breaking halfway through a combat, right? That's one of the things that I hate most as a DM, is having to break in the middle of a combat, sort of jump back. So, that brings us to an interesting discourse. Because as players in a game of 5th edition D&D, one of the things that all of you specifically, and most 5th edition players like to do, is they like to talk. They like to plan. They like to take their time coming up with intricate strategies and ideas. And if I gave you 4 hours to talk with allies, you would do so. But the thing is, there is a ticking clock this session. Isin knows you're here. Isin gave you an ultimatum, and you refused. However, in order for Isin to be ready to attack the city, that takes time. Now, the thing is, what I'm going to do is I am setting a timer. And I'm going to set this timer, and I'm going to keep it just for myself. None of you know how much time is left on the timer. None of you know when the fiends are going to arrive, but all you know is what Ainwin, the leader of the Crown Keepers, is going to tell you when you arrive in Periton. So as soon as Ainwin describes the situation to you, I will start my timer, and then at that point, whenever the timer reaches 0, that is when the fiends will arrive in the city. So that means you have to have your planning done by then. You have to have your allies, you have to make your deals as quickly as you can. Now, that does also mean that this timer doesn't stop, right? So you have to be careful about how much time you decide to devote to certain things, okay? All right, so like I said, as soon as Ainwin describes the situation to you, that is when I'm going to start the timer. And then that is when the countdown will begin. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Before we start, before we start the timer, and because it's time sensitive, should we talk about the plan in character or out of character sometimes? And also, we should make sure that we don't talk over each other because that could take up more time.
Well, honestly, probably out of character? Yeah?
I think it'd be easier to do the broad strokes that way. You know, if it makes sense to zoom in, then I guess do that for a few lines, but
I'm down for that.
yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty, sounds good. So with that, all of you arrive within the walls of Periton. As you stroll up to the northmost gate in the city of Periton, you are greeted by Ainwin. Now, Ainwin, being the leader of the Crown Keepers within the city of Periton. I'll go ahead and show you Ainwin again, just for a reminder. Now, the city of Periton, as I said before, is a city of about 10,000 people. So it is a fairly large city, especially compared to Richka, where you just came from. But it is the next biggest city, and every city from this point on will get increasingly larger. So I'll go ahead and move you to the map for Periton right now. Divided up into the 4 separate factions that currently have control over Periton. Lighting. Oh, oops. Save changes. There you go. Now you should be able to see it. Okay.
Oh shit. This is much bigger than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's a fairly large city.
Oh,
It's the white line.
The white lines divide who controls what sections of the city.
Ah, okay. I
And
see
then
it, yeah.
Ajax, just so you know, this red tower down here on the southwest corner, or southeast corner, sorry, that is the tower
Yeah.
that you would have entered with Jessica.
So I came from this. We're coming from this side.
Yeah, you're coming from the north. You're right
Oh.
up here. In a little cart up here.
Oh shit.
Okay. All right. So, here we go. As all of you enter in, the gates having been opened, you can see Aenwyn as well as a small detachment of Crown Keepers greet you at the front gate. Aenwyn looks to all of you and strikes a look of recognition to Bianca, the heir to the Damaris throne, having heard through the grapevine about this individual. She looks to all of you and to the small caravan that follows you, your numbers. Standing next to her being a small group of Goliaths as well, which Keothi had messaged to inform her of the situation. She waves a hand to all of you for you to gesture to come around off the side of the road to speak with her. As all of you do, she gives a slight bow to the group and says, "It is a great honor to meet you, my queen, Lady Damaris. We hope that while in Periton we can be of assistance. It's just that I fear things are a little more complicated here than what you may have first assumed. Judging from the message I received from one of you." Keothi will raise her hand and Aenwyn will nod. And she'll say, "First, I would just like to have introductions. I do like to know the names of those that I am working with. Of course, Lady Damaris, I recognize you from the messages I've heard and from the things I've read. It's a great honor to have you here with us."
It's
But
a
for the-
pleasure to finally meet you as well.
She'll nod. "And the rest of you?"
Cecily, daughter of Tyr.
Ajax. Dawnrider.
Suni Kalukatho.
Rasaladolski.
And then a few of the other key NPCs traveling with you introduce themselves as well. Suna, Keothi, and Ildan and Natalia as well. Nod. And you can see, coming from around the back, Kaladan comes up and he reintroduces, and the rest of his 8 sort of clump together. She says, "Good, well, it's very nice to meet all of you, and I wish that our first encounter would have been under much less strenuous circumstances. So, I need to give you a little bit of a debrief on what exactly is happening in Periton, because the request you sent me, I'm sorry to say, is simply not possible in the state of the city as it is. The Crown Keepers, myself, there are about 300 of us in the city, and we currently have the sway of about a quarter of the population, maybe a little more. A quarter of the people of this city, 2,500 people, give or take, trust us. They believe that what we're doing is best, and the return of the Queen, looking to you, Bianca, is what's best for this city. But the other 3/4 of the city don't think that we're right. They don't believe in us, they don't agree with anything we stand for. The Loyalists have made sure that if somebody is not with us, they are against us. They've done a great job at manipulating people, spreading false propaganda about the Queen and about the history of this region. So our greatest enemy in this matter is the Loyalists, as they also control a quarter of the city. So there's us, the Loyalists, who control a quarter. There's also the Arboreal Exiles. Honestly, it would be easiest to just call them eco-terrorists. They take protecting the natural world so seriously that anyone encroaching on those lands, they have no problem in doing whatever is necessary to send the right message. They've taken a great claim of the city, and there are a great deal of people within the city who think that they know what's best. And the Arboreal Exiles have no great love for the crown either. They see what's happened to Damaris Keep as an affront to nature itself, it being shrouded in eternal winter. And then finally there are the basilisks, clansmen from the mountains to the south. They've taken up stock in the southeast corner of the city, and a quarter of the population trusts them just due to raw strength out of fear. They are great fighters, that is true. And in all honesty, the biggest ally you have in whatever situation is happening might be them. As while they have no great love for anyone aside from their own clans, they do trust power, and they do trust strength. So, there's that. So that is the situation you're walking into. The only information I was given was evacuate the city, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening and what will happen, but that's what makes that situation so incredibly difficult.
Have you started evacuating anything?
We've started to spread messages to people if they can leave the city to heading south to either Vesna or north back to Richka. But most people without a reason to evacuate, they won't. Think about it. If you lived your entire life in one city and one day a soldier came knocking at your door and told you to leave for your own safety, would you?
Who
We've
have
tried.
you told to evacuate? Just the Crown Keepers, that section of the city, or every section?
We're spreading messages as much as we can, but it's a double-edged sword. Of course, we want to help people. We want to get as many people out as we can, but the issue is, if we spread this message too fast, too aggressively, the Loyalists could turn it against us, saying that we're trying to get people out so we can try and seize control of the city. It's a difficult situation, to say the least. And without specific details, there's very little we can do.
I understand. It seems that you have most of the sway within the Crown Keeper section of the city, correct?
Correct.
You'll be able to talk to at least those people and get them on your side and let them know what is happening, correct?
Of course.
All right. Well, if that is what you can do, it seems that the Loyalists are obviously not going to listen to you. The Arboreal Exiles will probably not leave. And the Basilisks are up in the air. So the best thing you can do, time, is at least try to evacuate the section that is the Crown Keepers. If those closest to the wall do not want to leave, at least try to get them towards the center of the city. I assume an attack will come from the outside in. I assume, unless anybody else knows that these things can open portals or do anything and be anywhere in the city. He looks at the rest of the party.
I'm sure they can fly.
Flight's always an option. Yes. Walls can only keep you so safe from the ground.
Does the city have guards?
We are the gods. There's no established government or central point. It's divided.
What about firepower, ballistas on the walls? How do you protect the city from intruders outside?
Honestly, most of it's infighting. Whoever owns the gate and those walls has sway over how those weapons are used. And in all honesty, since the last the last fiend incursion, some 60, 70 years ago, well, sorry, the last demon incursion maybe 20, 25, maybe 30 years ago. Since that one, there's never been any attacks here. We're so far inland that no foreign forces march on these lands.
And when that incursion happened, how did they attack?
Well, it was lucky for us at that time. The Crown Keepers had sway over most of the city, so we had a lot more organization, but it was a twofold attack. There were some portals that opened from the inside of the city, while the rest flew over.
Ajax is going to look to the party and say this out loud and say, well, we don't have much time because Isin obviously knows we're here. Here are my general thoughts. You can get the Crownskeepers at least and their people out, looking towards, what was her name again? Eowyn. That section of the city you have the most sway over. The Loyalists, we have to approach it as not being part of the Crown. One of us, or some of us, have to go over there and sway our power, saying that we are against the Crown or something, and try to get them to leave because there's going to be an attack. That's going to be hard to do.
Well,
My other thought...
I will say that I myself might not have very much sway to negotiate with them, but the true heir to this land and her council might have better sway.
What are we looking at for gear? Scrolls, potions, that kind of thing. Anywhere I can find them and dig them up, or am I going to need to use money?
Sadly, the industries that pull those things in aren't active in Periton. Most people just worry about surviving. Most magical things like that exist within Maester, or there are some small shops in Vesna, but sadly Periton is just struggling to stay afloat.
Mm-hmm. Well,
What about...
For the Crown
Oh,
Keepers, it's all good. Are there any, like, on a scale, like, you said it's mostly infighting, which means that these citizens aren't new to fighting necessarily, doesn't mean they're professionally trained, but how prepared would you say they are for just a battle? And I'm not talking about, like, children, like, just in general, the citizens.
The citizens, they might be willing, if they're loyal to the Crown Keepers, of course they'd be willing to fight for the Queen. But I suppose that's a question as to whether you'd want them to fight.
It's not really a want, it's more of a, you have better knowledge. Are these people hardy, or are they, I don't know, just, what are their skill sets, I guess?
In all honesty, they look to us to protect them.
Okay.
About 350 soldiers under my command. There are some more hardy than others. Maybe of the 2,500, there are 300, maybe 200 at the very least, I suppose, that could pick up a sword and know how to use it.
We still have the other two factions to think about. The Arboreal Exiles, you said, are... What was the term you used again?
Eco-terrorists.
Right. So they're not going to want to leave, correct?
No.
And they will want to protect their land as much as possible.
Very true.
Sounds like they're not on our side, but...
Sounds like they're against the side we're fighting, at least.
Greater enemy.
So, some of us, or one of us, whoever, can try to talk sense into them and tell them that they are in for a fight. And if they want to protect their land, they will have to fight against these creatures that we're going to be encouraging. And I don't know that that's not a word. Going to be attacking the city. The basilisks, I might be able to sway them. You said they look to power and strength. That's basically only what I do. So I could talk to them. Also, they are the closest to the tower, so they probably know of the evils that come from it. They are probably very willing to fight against this demon invasion. Especially if they're strong.
Well, I think that all makes sense. As far as persuading these loyalists goes, I don't know if I can do that, but depending on how we feel about me disguising and lying to them, I could certainly give that a shot.
Well, I was actually wondering if because you and Suni have the strongest tie to nature, you being storm and him being the earth. Maybe your guys' connection to nature could give you something to stand on with talking to them.
I was going to offer anyway. Maybe a representative of Elwyn would have some weight with them.
That's a good idea.
Not against that.
I think we don't need to worry about the Crown Keeper section of the city. We have Eowyn, and we have those that are with us now that could help with that. Swordmaster could also help. I think that we should split our efforts between the other three.
Carasilla, I'm a little split on if I should go towards the loyalists with Carasilla. If we want to do a more upfront and honest approach, I think that would be more ideal. But if we want to do more twisting of the truth, I don't know if I would be the best support there. And then I could maybe help you, Ajax, with the basilisks. But what approach do we think would be best?
I think honesty is the best. Sorry, Carasilla, go ahead.
Yes, if we twist the truth now, that might give us an upper hand, potentially, but further down the line, that's only going to make more troubles for us. Bite them in the hand once, and not going to be so reaching next time.
The queen is back, if you ask me.
Sure, but what the loyalists have, they won't have if this whole invasion works out. They have inherent stake in this, and crowns or not, they should care about what happens. And I think that's enough to work with in terms of sway.
Yeah. You just convince them to set it down for 10 minutes and fucking live. That might be your best bet.
It's going to be difficult. The thing I think that we should keep in mind is that Isin is going to try and turn this on Bianca, saying that it is her fault that this is happening because she is a tiefling. We need to make it very apparent that this has nothing to do with that, and that this creature seeks blood and vengeance. And that is all. And that they are going to spread lies about Bianca. If we can throw that in there in our process.
That'd be appreciated.
I do think honesty is the best policy here. The main thing is that the city is about to be attacked by demons, and that people need to either ready their weapons to fight or leave. Now, the only problem, if I'm outside looking in and being told this, is how do we know this is happening? And what do we say about that?
Much do the people here know about what's going on in that tower?
Yes, but how do we know that it's actually going to happen? Right now, we are just a group of people coming in saying, hey, you're going to get attacked. Run. What's our concrete evidence?
I don't have evidence, I just feel the storm coming. That might mean something to the arboreals, or whatever they were called, but I don't know about anybody else.
It is of interesting note, I will say. If this is your plan, at least for me, to try and rally those who can fight, who aren't my soldiers, I'll need to prepare that now. But one thing I will say of the arboreal exiles, my knowledge of the plains is fairly limited, but in my studies, I did learn that these rifts, these portals, these areas of entrance for these fiends, they occur where the material between the planes is thinnest, or where there's the most magic, ley lines, I think they're called. These arboreal exiles, they might have the best chance at finding those ley lines, so we know where the enemy may come from. So I don't think it's a bad idea to speak with them at all. And for what it's worth, also the Loyalist, although they are conniving and they put money before people, they do have the best equipment in the city. And I will say, just finally, in terms of the Basilisks, they are some of the most fearsome fighters I've seen. They harnessed magic and energy from the basilisks, these massive creatures.
How do they feel about the children of the flame?
The basilisks?
Yes.
I'm not sure if they have any feeling towards the children, in all honesty.
What about the current government?
In all honesty, I think that the basilisks are just concerned about if they get what they want. And if they control as much land and have the supplies they need to take care of their people. For a long time, they stuck within the mountains until the Old Kingdom fell.
So simple.
I just have a thought. Are there people living on the streets out here?
Not too many, but...
I'm just thinking that people living on the streets, you learn how to get around and you learn how to hide real fast because you don't have anywhere to go. Maybe it's a dead end, but for people that aren't able to evacuate or don't believe us until it's too late, might be a hiding spot or two around this town that even the rest of you don't know about.
I was actually about to mention something like that. Is there a sewer system here?
Kind of. There is small bits of stonework underneath the city to help funnel out some of the sewage, but nothing elaborate. And in fact, most of the underground areas have collapsed due to poor maintenance.
So, it seems that the escape routes are outside of the gate and possibly boarding ships and leaving.
Correct.
So that's where they should go for now.
We do have several buildings that we use as storage close to the docks that we could have people stay in the meantime. Those that are willing to leave. Like I said, I can't force everyone to get out of the city, but I can try.
That's all we're asking.
What about people here in terms of healers, people that can help people that do get caught in the crossfire?
We have several healers, several clerics under our service that can do most of that work. It's also of note that the Arboreal Exiles, they would have healers as well. And in all honesty, Cecily, you had asked earlier about scrolls and potions. Well, we have access to none. The Loyalists might have stockpiles there. And the Loyalists do also have mages at their disposal as well.
Good to know.
Like that, any of those that are willing, though, any of those mages, anyone that can heal, if they're willing to stay behind, it'd be a good idea to have groups of them patrolling, making sure that if anyone is hurt, they're seen to. And seen out of the city, hopefully, as well.
And maybe if there's a strong, powerful mage in there, maybe they have a few things up their sleeve that would be really useful. And Awen, even if I'm not able to go with you, my father, I don't know if his presence, being a Damaris as well, might help. I know the Crown's Keepers are already pretty sold on everything, but maybe his sway, his presence could get people to be like, either, I don't know, take it more seriously.
I think that might be a good idea. if you're going to talk with any of the other factions. And your father, he sort of grabs your shoulder and gives a small squeeze, and he says, I'll go. I would request, though, my lady, and he'll give you like a soft smile, like, you got this, girl. It's okay. If you would allow me, I'd request to take the Blade Master with me. For those people that might not be as skilled fighters, perhaps he can give them a few pointers, a few tips that could save their lives.
Yes, that would be excellent. Great idea.
Thank you, my lady. He'll
Dad.
nodding. It's all about formality. It's all about formality. And Illithor, he nods hearing that, and he'll walk over with Ildan, and the two of them will stand next to Aenwyn. And now you have the rest of your companions as well. Obviously, Kaladan will head with the Crown Keepers, but you have Natalia, Keothi, and Suna. Obviously, all three of them could be, and Stepan as well, but Stepan's going to go with the Blade Master just because he's an Order Initiate. So you have Keo, Natalia, and Suna. And they can go wherever you'd like, but I feel like all of you kind of already have a little bit of a divide as to where you're going and how things are going to break down.
Keo might be a good ally with Cecily and Suni, since she's also got that Earth connection.
Agreed.
Definitely going to say that.
I think we should send the talker, Carousella, and one other person to the Loyalists.
Was I going with Carousella since the approach was upfront honesty?
I think if you go, either you disguise, because didn't you talk to Loyalists and they were like, tiefling,
well, some Crown Keepers did that too. So
okay, well, it's just in general. Okay, yeah, then you should go with Carousella.
Yeah.
I think Ajax should just go talk to the basilisks. I think he'll have the best luck with them.
Do you want to have Assassin Mom with you, though?
I think Assassin Mom should go to the basilisks too.
Okay. I also think that we should split up these earpieces per group so we can all talk to each other.
There's is there 3 of them?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So Ajax will have one.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, we can Ajax, and then Cecily already has one, and then I think Bianca already has one, right? So.
And then can Carousella do the telepathic link right now so that all of us still have it just in case?
I was going to offer, but that does take 10 minutes, depending on how time sensitive we want to be doing.
Yeah, we don't have time. We're already going to our set. We don't have to worry about the Groundskeepers, I think.
Yeah.
We have so many people that are doing the Groundskeeper stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So I will throw out now.
Yeah.
I dropped it in the chat, but Cecily does have her Urchin ability, so with our group, we'd be getting there twice as fast as normal, and Cecily's going to lead them through alleyways and just keep an eye out for any signs of homeless communities and possible, not quite thieves' cant, but, pointers of, where to go, where stuff is.
We'll keep an eye out for thieves' cant, though.
Yeah, sweet.
Last question to the group. Seriously, what are we going to say when someone asks, how do we know that this is going to happen?
That is a great question. So the 3 of us, I feel like, are settled, but that really is a big deal for the rest of the groups.
Because we can't. We could totally say, "Oh yeah, Bianca's soul was taken by this thing, and then we met this devil on this road, and it said either do this or do that, and it's going to attack." Yeah. I feel like we shouldn't say that. We shouldn't tell them that the decision we made is going to.
I feel like with Carousella and Bianca, it's just going to have to be more of a winning over with, in a way.
I was going to say,
trust.
I think for Carousella, if that Gleeman status, is able to pull some weight there and just be like, yeah, I've got my channels, don't worry about it, don't ask about it, you don't need to fucking know, they're my channels.
Ajax can also use the channels. I don't know how many people know he's an ex-captain of the Guard of Belka yet, so...
Well, I was thinking the Basilisks, they might not care if you just get them to understand, because like you said, they're pretty simple with their needs and wants, so they might not give too much of a shit about Bianca, but more of if you can convince them that their livelihood is in danger, that might, and again, kind of like blind trust, almost like a weighing it out. Like, yeah, you guys could act like you could go forward and say that it's not, but what if it does?
Yeah, I mean,
Then what
Ajax.
do you do?
Yeah, okay. I got an idea for Ajax at least. He's gonna lean into like I've been doing this, and I'm pretty good at knowing when this is gonna happen. Either listen to me or don't. So
I think Carousel and Bianca are the longest shot here, but banking on you, Carousel. Let's do this.
well, if we can get 3/4 of the city on our side, and that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So
Yeah.
we should head out.
I mean, even if they don't believe us, once like flying fiends start attacking the city, I hope that some people will help out.
Change their mind. Yeah.
Cecily, as we're getting ready to split off, she would also say to Bianca and Carosilla and whoever else might be NPCing it up, headed over to the Loyalists, if they do have scrolls, not necessarily negotiating for some of them. I mean, if you can, go ahead, but that might be impossible given the bias already. But at least scope out if they have them and where they are, because that may come into play when violence does erupt, because Cecily would have no problem running up to the scrolls and being like, you don't know me, but you're going to need to give me some of these if you want a chance of living. And then...
Also, I think Suna should go with Bianca and Carosilla.
Oh yeah.
Little awkward bean.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, she also needs to be royalty or some shit some days. So, like, maybe she's got a trick up her sleeve or two. Got some pull.
Ajax is just gonna flex in front of the basilisks. I feel like that's pretty much just it. It's like I am big, powerful, and strong.
Can't you tell how smart I am?
Yeah. All right, we should break off now because I feel like I don't know how much time we got left. So
I don't know. Did you start the timer already, Joe?
No, I said once you got your debriefing from Ainwin and you figured out where you were going, that's when the timer would start.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Alrighty. So before we start the timer, because we won't get a chance to do so otherwise, we're going to break right here. Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Break right here.
That makes sense.
And then as
See if the
soon
baby's
as
asleep.
we come back, that's when we're diving in. Okay.
Oh boy. Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
Here we go. All right. Early break this time, but we'll be right back. we're back. All right. We're going to go ahead and dive back in because the timer starts in just 1 second. So, as all of you are getting ready to split off in your separate directions, you can see Aenwyn talking with Caladan, talking with Eildon, talking with the Swordmaster. Everybody's sort of having a brief moment there. And you can see Aenwyn kind of stop and turns back to the group, specifically back towards Bianca before all of you split up, as the timer starts now. I would just like to say one thing, my lady.
Of course.
We, of course, will follow you into anything you may say or anything you want. The Crown Keepers have always fought for the Queen, and will always continue to do so, but I have one request, should you retake the throne and should Periton be saved.
Yes.
If we arise successful, the people in this city will listen to you. They'll respect your judgment, and they will heed your calls, whatever they may be, should you save them from these fiends. Should that happen, would you be willing to install us, the Crown Keepers, those who've been most loyal to you, as the leaders of this city, those in charge of the day-to-day and establishing order in the city?
I do believe it is order that we need, and I think you all have the best judgment in mind for that. I will say we need to make this equal to all who want to come. But if I'm being fully honest, I believe that is a position that will first come to you. But I do want to establish that this is going to be a very equal for everyone kingdom.
Of course. Not turn anyone away, just, as I said, all I ask is that we be in charge of the day-to-day, the protection and organization of the people of Periton.
I think that would be most ideal, yes.
And she will reach her hand out for you to shake it.
Okay, yeah, she'll shake it. Wait, before I do, can I please, I know I don't want to take up time, insight check just to be extra safe.
Go for it, yeah.
Hopefully I'm not blind like I normally am. What?
I said pulls Bianca forward, stabs Bianca.
Oh my god. That's not really what I'm worried about. It's more, oh my gosh, I should have put it my character.
She can take that.
Oh my god. No, it's, I mean, yeah, but it wouldn't be fun.
Promise. Rule of a city to a sketch person.
Insight. I know. I don't want to do that. Oh, good. It's an 18. Good,
18?
good.
Okay. As far as you can tell, she's being honest. You can tell that this is something she really wants, and she's trying to conceal it, trying to maintain calm, trying to make herself not look, power hungry. And you can tell that she's not. But you can tell this is something that she's dreamed of for a while, and it's something she really, really wants. And the prospect of that is very tantalizing to her, and she is very excited to potentially lead these people.
I'm sorry, not to take up time. So just not in a, I'm gonna
not
throw my weight
way.
around kind of way. Okay. Then yes, she will shake her hand. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't, it was so quick.
No, that's okay.
I wasn't
that's
ready
okay.
to make a big girl choice. Okay,
You're
we're
all
done.
right. And with that, Bianca has made her first promise as queen. We have one promise so far. Let's see how many you rack up in the time before you retake
Oh my
Damaris
god.
Keep. Okay.
Here we go.
So,
Politics.
with that first promise made, you shake. Aenwyn is full of joy and respect. She bows to you, Bianca. As with that, she heads up with Caladan, the sword master, Eildon, and the rest of the Crown Keepers, and they march off. The Goliaths will head with them, and they do share with Keothi that they have reacquired Draven, and he is in the Crown Keeper's base of operations in the city of Periton, safe and secured there. Keothi gives a nod, but she affirms with them that she's going to head with Cecily and Suni down to the Arboreal Exiles to hopefully swing her weight as one of two, well, I guess technically one of three, but one of two good Kalukathos living in the world. So, with that, the three groups split off and diverge. And with that, we'll go ahead and dive into this. So, which one of the three groups is going first?
Well, I don't know if it necessarily matters in terms of the timer, but I think with Cecily's ability, we would get wherever we're going pretty fast.
Okay, makes sense to me. So with that, we'll go with Suni, Keothi, and Cecily first and foremost. So you split off, earpiece ready, heading south down to the area where the Arboreal Exiles are. So that means no more travel token. We have got just the player icons here. Okay. Alrighty. So with that, the two of you are able to easily traverse to where you need to go in the section of town dedicated to the Arboreal Exiles. So you head there, and Cecily, you're able to easily recognize symbols and things all along the walls, all along the road, and Suni, you're able to translate from Thieves' Cant. There is a small operation of thieves in this area, but it seems most of them actually work for the Arboreal Exiles to collect them information. Some of them are beggars, right? Free food this way, items this way, place to sleep this way. You can find all of those things, but most of them seem to be markings for info drop-off this way. Known enemy of the Arboreal Exiles this way, right? Or houses marked to know like places you should not attack because the Arboreal Exiles have claimed that those places are protected by them. So, with that,
two birds.
Yep, you are able to collect all that information, and you eventually do arrive in the sort of base of operations for the Arboreal Exiles, which is this green building with a blue dot right in front of you, right here. Okay. So you can see that approaching, it seems to be some type of temple of some kind. It's an open air temple, very similar to the ones that you saw outside of Summer's Rest, between Summer's Rest and Water's Wake. In fact, Suni and Cecily, you get this flashback to your very first time leaving your home in Water's Wake and arriving in this place. And the places are eerily similar. As you approach through, you can see splendid marble columns with leaves and vines wrapped around the edges. And you can see the Arboreal Exiles gather here freely. Rangers cloaked in greens and blacks and browns. And you can see all of them clustering around one person in particular. A dragonborn. No, wait, sorry. My bad. A human man of deeper brown golden skin. You can see a trimmed beard, hair pulled back into a low ponytail on his head. And you can see a very focused look on his face as he's listening. As the three of you approach, he turns and looks. As you can see several other of the Arboreal Exile Rangers, they move over, sort of maybe beginning to knock arrows, maybe getting ready to draw swords. And you can hear one of them shout out, "Who approaches so freely to the home of the exiles?"
Cecily is just going to give a nod to Kyo and Suni, thinking she's kind of back up here. They should probably take the lead, being the Elowen duo.
Okay, Suni will step forward then, returning the nod to Cecily, and he will say, "We are messengers. We come with terrible news, and we hope to have a conversation about what we can do to help these people, your people."
You can see none of them are exactly ready to immediately jump on that. But, Suni, you speak as a metallic dragonborn wearing the symbolism, the iconography of Elowin all over your armor. So I'm going to go ahead and have you make a persuasion check with advantage.
Hell yeah. That's why I passed the torch for you.
Okay. Oh, that's not great. You said persuasion.
With advantage, yep.
So that's an 8 plus. Where is my character sheet? Why aren't you up? That's a 16.
16. Okay, 16's not bad. You can see that the human man, the golden brown skin, he raises a hand to the people who drawn their weapons, and he gestures for all of you to come forward. And he begins to speak to all of you, and says, "It is a pleasure and an honor to meet a knight of Elowin. I am Magnus Patel, leader of the Arboreal Exiles here in Beratin." And he gives a small head nod to you, Suni. Immediately, right off the bat, you can tell this man is going to... Yep. Right here. You can tell that he's listening. You've caught his attention. You can see the rest of the Arboreal Exiles. They sheath their weapon. They put their arrows back in their quiver. And they do not leave. But more so in this open forum area, there's nothing hidden. Right? That's the thing that you see about this conversation. There's no closed doors here. He's listening, but so are about 50 of these rangers that are also listening to the conversation you're about to have. So just be aware of that, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So he will return the nod to him as well, and say, "Thank you for your hospitality and for your willingness to listen to us. We would not come here if it was not necessary to do so. We are traveling with, as you may have heard, the return of the heir to the throne of Damaris. And there is terrible trouble that is coming. Trouble that will ravage this land, ravage the people, ravage the trees, the water, everything here. It's happened before and it will happen again. We need to make sure that your people are safe, and we need to make sure that the people of the city are safe. I ask you from the future queen of this land and from Elowin herself, please, whatever aid you can give us, now is the time."
Interesting. You see him sort of think for a moment. Go ahead and make another persuasion check. This is just a flat roll.
Oh no! That was a natural one.
Oh, buddy. Okay, all right. Lucky. Also, I think something weird is happening with your dice on Foundry because it keeps telling me you rolled privately. So that's kind of funny.
Wait. Okay. I switched it to public roll. I don't know why it was set to private roll.
You're good. I believe you. In this situation, I don't think you'd say you'd rolled a nat 1 just for funsies. You can see Magnus, he sort of nods, and he takes a step closer to you, Suni, and says, "You say you will return with the queen. A
That is
tiefling, I hear. Is that true?"
True, but I don't see how it matters.
Tell me, Suni, of Elowin, what do you know of the history of this land? Enough, I would assume, traveling with the queen.
Yes.
Then you can see how it might matter at least a little.
I understand the hesitations that you and the people of this land have. But it shouldn't matter when lives are at stake, when the land is at stake. when the very fabric of this world is at stake? What does it matter her skin color and if she has horns? There is nobody in this land with a more noble heart, a fiercer blade, or a smarter mind. She is the person to look to. She is the person I look to. And you would be wise to do the same.
Bold words coming from such a noble person such as yourself. I am inclined to believe you. I would like you to know. As I'm sure are many of the rangers around me inclined to believe you. But you see, there is a problem. Year after year, the growing cold and winter wasteland that exists within Damaris Keep grows stronger and spreads farther. You must understand. The thinning and destruction of the matter and magical energies between planes is an affront to everything we hold dear. Her name, her family, is connected to that. And on top of that, a tiefling. I have fought with tieflings. Some braver than most humans or elves I've met. More cunning, more strong. I have no problem working with them. And I have no problem respecting them. But all of these things point. Her lineage, her race, her bloodline, the infection her bloodline has caused upon these lands. They serve to be things that taint my image, my idea of this woman you claim to be so kind, cunning, and smart. Tell me, you are allied with this queen, you are her trusted allies, I presume, since you come to speak for her. Is that correct?
Correct.
Very well. Then this is my request. You say the city is coming under attack. What is attacking the city?
The fiends controlled by the devil Isin, who has inhabited this city under the nose of you and everyone else who's trying to lead these people, spawning gods know what in that tower. And you think that just because of her lineage and just because of the way she looks, that should taint your image. It has been years since any of that happened. There is not a Damaris on the throne, and yet this destruction of this land happens anyway. There is nothing I want more than to uphold the land and all of the grace that Elwyn has bestowed upon this world. And I assume you would feel the same. And you would be foolish not to think that the forces that are coming care so much about them. You ally yourself with us against this, or you ally yourself against the land, against nature, and against Elwyn. The choice is yours. It's a simple one if you ask.
Sunny, go ahead and make I'm gonna say intimidation check.
Okay.
Those are some strong words.
Those were strong words. Intimidation is less good, but it's fine.
Cecily's ready to come in. She's ready to come in for backup if this gets Not great.
That was a 9 plus 4, so a 13.
13. Okay. His eyes narrow a bit. You say this creature exists within the tower.
That's correct. Surely you have noticed the fraying between the worlds, the darkness that comes, the coldness that you yourself mention, creeping right under your noses and right under your toes. And you think that a woman who has traveled from far away to help this land is the problem.
He's going to throw his hand up to sort of put a pause on the conversation, and he's going to gesture for one of the rangers to come over. He whispers a few things back and forth, and one of the rangers walks off. I hear you. I understand. It's very interesting that you say that tower. You know who has jurisdiction over that part of the city, don't you?
Do.
Then I think we may have an accord. To me, it would be obvious then. None of my agents can get close enough to that tower to investigate it, to see it enough. They are either killed or they're stopped by Basilisk forces. So then, I think we have a very simple implication. So then, so be it. I can find myself allying with your queen, with this Bianca, regardless of her being a tiefling or being a Damaris, if you make this pledge to me. And whatever the basilisks may ask, do not aid them. They very obviously have allied themselves with Isin. And so, why would you want to help them in the first place? Should you not ally with them, everything the Arboreal Exiles can give you, we will. In fact, outside of the defense of Periton, should you help in the clan's destruction, once all is said and done, in your time in the Old Kingdom, the Arboreal Exiles will grant you our extra strong planar magic, allowing easy transportation through the trees. We have druids in our larger groves that will allow you to teleport all across Bella Clara by tree striding.
Cecily will lean to Suni and Kyo, and much like he did with his ranger, she'll whisper to the two of them, I can let Ajax know what he's getting into, but it's up to you whether or not we make that promise. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to keep it, but we might need everybody to live.
You should tell Ajax, give me just one more second to see if I can't change the circumstances of this negotiation a little.
She'll nod, and she will, into her message conch thing, go ahead and let Ajax know. Be wary. The Arboreal Exiles do not want us to ally with the Basilisks. We might be pinned into a situation where we have to pick one or the other. Also be aware that he has accused the Basilisks of potentially being in allegiance with Isin and whatever else is in that tower. So just, she'll send all that general information to him.
Noted.
Oh, nope. Ajax, you do not get that in that moment. I'll let you know when you get that ping during your conversation.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
That's fun.
Okay. Suni will kind of lean back or head back to the conversation, and he will say, beyond the deaths of several of your people, which I'm sure were hard to deal with, at the hands of another faction grasping for control of the city. Is there any other information that leads you to believe that these basilisks are in any sort of alliance with Isin? Deals with devils are harder to explain or to analyze than meets the eye, especially from halfway across the city.
Sadly, my knowledge of specific fiends, especially those of great power, is not as depthful as I would like. But, and he'll try and think of anything, sort of taking a moment, and he'll look towards any of the other rangers. Is there anything that comes to anyone's mind that fits that? You can see all of them sort of talk back and forth for a moment, a little bit of noise echoing throughout this large chamber. Until one of the rangers looks to be a half-orc woman. She sort of raises her hand and says, I have seen some of the stronger basilisks, druids, clerics, whatever they may be. They have what they say is a gift from basilisk creatures, an ability to petrify, turn someone to stone. I've also heard of some fiends being able to do the same thing. I'm not an expert in the dissection and harvesting of magical ingredients from monstrosities, but for some of them to be able to do so easily, it could be a gift from a fiend. He nods. Anyone else? It seems as though no one else says anything else. Seemingly, that's the only one piece of information aside from what you said about the tower and them protecting that area.
Mm-hmm. So Suni will kind of pause a moment, kind of think about that before saying, we have allies who are traveling to the Basilisk's territory as well. Your offer is very generous, but you have to understand the situation it puts us in to make such an agreement without conversing with our allies. I would love to accept your help, and I believe what you say when you say that the things that they have that you have seen from the basilisks have been threatening at the very least. I want to help your people, and I want to help all of these people. So if you can, give me just a few moments to see if we can, just a minute or two at the most, to see if we can't hear anything back from them. Then we can think about this agreement. I am not the one leading this operation. I am just a messenger.
Very well. You may stay, and you may wait for a response. But
Thank
just
you
be
for the
wary.
hospitality.
You may want to be ready to leave at any moment. If your
Understood.
friend is wandering into Basilisk territory, he may need your help sooner than later.
He'll give a nod, and then he'll go back to Keothi and Cecily, and will ask Cecily, did Ajax tell you anything?
And we're going to go ahead and cut to Ajax and Natalia. So Ajax and Natalia,
Let's go.
you make your way to the other side of the city where the basilisks make their home. You cross the bridge and immediately right off to what would be the left-hand side of the road with you all heading south. You can see the walkway that would lead to where you could have counsel, or you could discuss with the leaders of this part of the city. You follow the path upward, and you can see what used to be some type of amphitheater of some kind that was built into the hillside near the river. You can see this theater at the very bottom. There is what looks to be, it's been transformed into a small fighting pit where you can see different members of this clan sort of brawling and just beating the shit out of each other as there is a blue dragonborn standing above them on a raised platform watching the fighting. And you can see all around this small amphitheater, there are stone statues. Incredible in their detail. Maybe 10 of them. It is uncanny. The detail, especially from this distance, but getting closer to the two right next to the entrance, the truth of these statues becomes too real. The looks of horror and pain on their faces. These aren't carved from marble. These were people petrified and turned to stone. As Ajax and Natalia enter, you can see Natalia does look to you, saying that she's going to let you have the lead on this. And you can see the blue dragonborn look up and smile and say,
"Well, it looks as though we have visitors. Perhaps new additions to the collection, huh? Welcome, friends. Come, join us. I am Bati."
As you see this dragonborn gesturing towards you.
Wow, he's fucking sick. Goddamn. Okay. He's so cool. Okay. Ajax kind of nods his head and says, "Thank you for the warm welcome, friend. We don't have much time, so I will try to take as little time from you as possible and get straight to the point, if that would please you."
Very well, Lowlander. Speak.
My name is Ajax, Dawnrider. I come bearing news that is of the utmost importance to your people and to the city. I come on behalf of the Damaris name, the rightful heir to the Old Kingdom. You and your people are going to have demons, a horde of enemies on your doorstep within minutes, maybe an hour. I'm not sure. But I heard that the great people of the basilisks are strong and proud, very well fighters, and do not take no for an answer. Am I wrong in assuming?
Well, Lowlander, it seems as though you've done your reading. Very good to know. What else did those books tell you of the basilisks?
It was not books that told me anything. It was rumors and words. Some say that is more informative.
You can see he nods, and he'll step down from the platform and make his way around the fighting pit. The individuals in there haven't stopped sparring yet. They're still just going at each other. As he walks around and begins to walk up the steps, headed towards where the two of you are. Do you walk down to meet him, or are you just going to stay at the high ground? Okay.
Ajax right now is showing the most pride he possibly can. His chest is out. He's like trying to be imposing and also confident. Like he's
Yeah.
not letting this person intimidate him.
Yeah, and Ajax, for what it's worth, you are much larger than this Dragonborn. Wider, taller, and in all honesty, probably stronger than him as well. But you can tell that is not something that phases this Dragonborn, as he is taking you seriously because of the way that you're approaching, but he's definitely not afraid. Definitely not. So he listens to you and he nods as the two of you sort of meet in the middle at a, what I guess would pretty much be a, like a vomitorium, where there is a flatter area where the two of you can talk, surrounded by the stands and benches that are sort of carved into this hillside. As the two of you meet,
You walk with strength, Lowlander. You said Dawn Rider was your name.
Yes, that is correct. And you are Batai, right?
Yes. Batai is my name. I speak for the basilisks. Basilisks.
ooh, man, that was rough.
Basilisks, clans of the mountains. I speak for the stone and the earth. You say demons will attack us. What would you say if I told you I wasn't surprised?
I would be curious as to why.
Every few days, one of them wanders out from the tower, and we make sure it doesn't hurt those who we've given protection.
That is admirable and appreciate.
Admirable. If they did not give us what we wanted, we would not protect them. Do not be misguided by why we do what we do.
I understand. Well, then you know the severity of the situation. If you run into these creatures often, then there's about to be a horde of them on your doorstep. And those people that give you what you want, and in return you protect them, are in danger, which puts you in the things that you want most at danger.
So then what do you propose? I bend a knee to your Lowlander queen?
No. I propose that when the fighting comes, you help us kill these things so that there's still a Periton left. I've heard stories of your strength and your people and your abilities. And from one fighter to another, there's nothing more to fight for than your own land. I'm sure that the Queen would be very appreciative of you and your people. But she can only be appreciative if you and your people in Periton is still around.
In my time here, I've learned a thing or two from you Lowlanders. And I will do this, to kill fiends as I've done most days of my life. I will do so happily. But I could just defend those who give payment to me and my people. If you wish me to defend anything outside of what I control. I want more than what I have.
And what exactly would that be? What are your terms?
Deals. I like lowlanders for that reason. Deals. I've always wanted to be a lord. It's a fun title you lowlanders have. Should we help defend the city? We could keep the city safe once all is said and done. Lord Batai, Lord of Periton. It's a good name.
It does have a good name, a good ring to it. However, I cannot make such promises currently. You see, as I stated before, Periton need to survive, even to have a lord. Also, I'm curious. You came at it at an angle as a fun title. Being a lord is not that fun. Actually, quite a lot of work. And for someone who just wants to protect those who give him things, you would have a whole city to do that. Except people would be coming to you every day and asking for things, and you would have so much on your plate you would not be able to understand what is happening. Being a lord is a lot. But being a captain, how do you feel about that?
This is going to sound odd, Ajax. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to make a persuasion check, but using strength instead of charisma. Because that's the thing with them. They don't care about the words you say, but it's how you hold yourself as you say them.
Strength check.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 17 plus 4. So 22. 21? 21.
21, yeah. You can see he peeks with interest a bit.
Captain. What do I do as a captain?
The same thing as a lord. Except you're seen for more of your strength. Seen for more of your abilities. Take it from a former captain. I was the captain of the guard in Belka, and many people came to me with their issues and problems, and I helped them, and I got things in return. I was renowned. Plus, you have vacations.
You see him kind of, he furrows, thinking for a bit, and then says,
I give orders. I tell people what to do.
Within reason, yes.
Does anyone tell me what to do?
Only the queen.
See him think for a moment.
Take it from me, friend. You don't want a lot of responsibilities. I've been in those positions before. They're not fun. You think they look fun, but us lowlanders, too much politics, too many talking to people.
Even as captain, though, you still talk.
Not as much as a lord. That's up to you. Both positions have to talk and be political. But that was your suggestion. I was merely telling you a step down. Now, If you want to step down from captain, where you don't have to talk politics. Continue in the role you are now, to lord over the people of the Basilisk clan in this section of the city. Nothing has to change. You have no politics, except for your own, and you don't have to worry about people encroaching on you. Also, just so I can point out, these demons coming from that tower, when it's all said and done, will be eradicated. And you won't have to worry about that anymore, so you'll have some more time to play, I guess. Not having to worry about demons.
And you see him, he's starting to get a little frustrated, having been talking for so long.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I don't want any of that. The more I just want my home. Your queen would command an army then, right?
My queen would command all armies.
I think I know what would be best for all people.
And what is that?
When your queen can sit in her big fancy chair, when she commands all armies, she helps me and the basilisks reclaim our land. And we'll even help her reclaim hers. We'll leave Periton behind and fight by her side. But when all is said and done, she marches to the mountain with us to slay the great basilisk that turns my people to stone. You see, we don't call ourselves the basilisks out of pride, but as a reminder to what we lost.
Slaying a great basilisk.
At about
That
this
does-
point, Ajax, as you're finishing that thought, you do now get the message from Cecily about not making a deal with the the clans.
It was a deal not to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Ajax he doesn't respond. He says, "Slay a great basilisk. That does sound like fun. And I enjoy slaying things. I will talk to my queen. This does sound like something we can arrange. Should Periton stand, should the people of this city survive, and we destroy this great threat, I'm sure my queen is very willing to consider that."
You can see him kind of furrow his brow and shake his head.
We will not defend this city outside of our own quadrant, outside of our part, based on words.
You see, this goes back to the Lord and Captain thing. There's politics involved.
And that's what I didn't want. I'm not a lord. I don't want that. I don't want to be a captain. Now, we will not fight for your queen if we don't get what we want. We'll defend our part of the city, but should the rest burn, so be it.
The city must stand. So if getting you to protect and help means that the Queen will help you destroy and kill this basilisk to get your land back, so be it. I will make the request to the Queen. It will be done if you hold up your end of the bargain. And I will personally walk with you and your people to kill that basilisk. Do we have a deal?
Before we fight, we will have an oath. You will swear using the same systems and honors that we do for such promises. So
Very
get
well.
your validation, your permission. And until you have it, we will not cross that line.
Very well. And what exactly do you need from me to make sure that the validation is complete?
We'll bind it by blood.
This will only take a second.
Okay.
He's going to step off to the side.
Yeah.
He's going to say back to Cecily, bad news. Well, bad and good news. Bad news is I have to make a deal with them because the deal is that they are going to help the Queen regain her land for them to regain theirs, and they will leave Periton.
Fuck.
Otherwise, they're not going to cross their borders to help anybody.
All right, Cecily will relay that to Suni and Kyo. That we're kind of in a choice here, an impasse.
I mean, out of character. I could totally not make the deal, and they're gonna protect their side of the land.
Yeah.
I had the same thought, but also out of character. If Ajax lets us know that all they want is to return to their homeland, maybe that's enough to persuade the arboreal people that they're not
That's
fucking
true.
around with demons. They're just trying to get home.
Yeah.
Also,
I think Cecily would say generally in the message and to Suni and Kyo, if we can just get both of them to ignore each other for today,
yeah.
and get along, and then we can convince.
Plus, the basilisks are gonna help us retake Bianca's homeland, and then we just have to help them kill a basilisk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the arboreal people, as long as they don't have another deal, also pretty well claimed allegiance in the help of tree striding.
Okay. So I'm making this deal, right? Like, I have to. Like, I feel like this is like a pretty good deal for us, at least as a whole.
I think so. The main thing with the arborist people is the transportation would be really great. But I think there's a way to get both right now.
Yeah,
I don't know about
them
the term, but I think right now we can certainly try.
Shit, Ajax wouldn't know to tell you that they don't get their powers from like demons for basilisks. They have this curse from this basilisk or whatever. And Ajax wouldn't know to retain that information to you, because if you told the arboreal people, hey, they're not working with demons. Oh, Ajax would relay that they have been they weren't surprised by demons coming in, because demons have been coming in and they've been killing them.
They've been killing them. Right. That would
Ajax would relay that because that's important information. Ajax wouldn't know to relay the information of like, hey, they're not getting their powers from demons.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. Okay, but Cecily can certainly tell Suni and Kyo then that they've actually already been fighting the fiends coming out of the tower, and that might make persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
So what order do we want to do this in? I know we're probably running out of time.
Yeah.
TBH, if we can lock down 2 more, get the Arborealist. Like, at this point, we already got 1. Lock down the Arborealist. Give it like 5 minutes. See if they'll sway in those 5 minutes, and then we can move on. I mean, make it snappy, but yeah.
I think the information that Ajax gave Cecily can fuel a sway in their opinion about their deal.
Is Ajax holding off on making the deal until we hear back from the Arboreals?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do the thing now. Cecily will come forward with the information.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We talked with our contact, speaking to the basilisks. The basilisks have actually already been fighting the demons that come out of the tower. And in the interest of keeping this town alive and nature preserved, I think it would make sense if we let them keep doing that. I don't know if we're going to get along long term, and I get where you're coming from, but if we're not all working together, this entire ship is going to sink.
Don't imagine they'll leave.
Even more important, it sounds like the Basilisks don't even really want to be here. Once this is wrapped up, they're interested in going back to the mountains. If we do end up helping them, it would mostly just be to get them out of this kingdom and return them to where they want to go. If anything, that should bring more balance to nature, right?
It's a win-win-win-win.
I understand where you're coming from, but for today, I don't know if any of us live unless we all just swallow our pride and work together.
And Keothi will say, as one of the Goliaths of the Hearthstone, you and I both know how much nature is at the forefront of everything I do. If you know anything about Elowin, you know in matters as grave as these, she is nothing more than reasonable in seeing the hard truths of situations like these. See reason. Please.
He nods. And Cecily, I'd like you to make a persuasion check with advantage.
Come on, Cecily.
It's a great
Got
argument.
this.
Suni and Keothi are behind you. You got good information.
3/4.
Okay.
3/4.
That was a 27.
Hell yeah.
Okay. He listens. And he says,
We will help you. We will help defend the city, and we will help you in the Queen's retaking of Damara's Keep. Before we help you with the taking of the keep, several of my exiles, were captured by the basilisks and turned to stone. I would like them unpetrified and returned to me. Or even if that's not possible, to have their bodies returned so we may give them a proper burial. I think that's only fair. We will fight with you. We will. And we believe, at least I believe, looking towards the rest of the exiles, that the basilisks have not been aided by demons. I'm willing to see that. But if they do see reason, if they do if they are willing to help, then I think that my request is more than reasonable.
It is a reasonable request and an honorable choice. The three of us, as well as Elowin and the future queen, all commend you for choosing the right thing. We will do everything in our power to get your people back to you. You have my word.
Thank you.
Mine too. And Cecily will beep 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 beep, and she'll go ahead and let Ajax know the Arboreals are willing to hold off and work together as long as we are still defending Periton. Afterwards, they have some terms, but it looks like we'll be able to get both on our side. Go ahead and proceed with your deal.
Ajax he's visibly holding his ear so that Batai can see, but he can't hear him. He's off to the side. He stopped holding it. It nods so that Batai can see, and he turns around, walks over and says, "Your request has been granted. After Periton, you are to help the Queen reclaim her throne. With that, we will then help you reclaim your land and slay the basilisks that drove you out."
You can see him nod and a smile grows as he pulls out a dagger from his hand, or from his belt, and he'll cut across his hand and hand the dagger to you to do the same.
Okay. As he takes the dagger, he's trying to make small conversation as he's doing it. He says, "I do have a question, however," and he kind of stabs himself, not even flinching at all.
Yeah.
The stone of the people around. I assume they were once living, correct?
That is correct. They all were once living.
What are your plans with them?
You see him just kind of
We use them to show our strength, and it helps encourage people to see reason.
I'm sure nothing more than on this night will the strength of the basilisks be shown. I ask one final favor. For me. Leave behind the statues. They'll be hard to transport anyways. On this night, we are battling all together. Correct?
and Ajax. Does a 25 hit?
Yeah, it hits.
Okay. You see him with this bloody hand. He just swings and he punches you. And I'd like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Well, this guy fucked up.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Well, so that's a 19 plus 9, Joe. So 28.
Okay. He punches you and it makes contact. You do take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as he makes contact with your jaw, but he hits you and your head kind of flings to the side, but the rest of your body doesn't move.
I slowly bring my face back.
And you can see this wild smile on his face.
Hit me.
Is this part of the oath?
Prove to me you're strong enough.
Ajax smiles, and as he smiles, there's this low lion growl as he's going to rage.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you don't fucking punch me, bruh. So that's it. It's not advantage, right?
Unless you do it reckless.
Fuck it. So that is a 25.
25. Crack, make a con saving throw for him. He doesn't go flying, but he does kind of lose his balance a little bit and have to stabilize himself. And he looks up at you and he gestures his hand out for you to shake and says,
The statues stay when we leave.
Good.
Ajax Dawnrider.
and you can see he calls you by your name now instead of Lowlander.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that, Ajax, Blood Oath made, the bodies will be returned to the Arboreal Exiles, and also it's worth noting that Cecily, Suni, and Keothi, Magnus does extend a hand for all of you to shake as well.
She'll take it, and the only other thing she'll ask is if they know where there are any weak spots in the weave and ripples in the plains and anything like that, that she can be shown them ahead of time.
Okay, so while all of you are here, and I'll go ahead and mark those now very quickly, but there are weak spots. Right. Oh, Jesus. Why is there a new text thing there? Oh, God, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad that he punched me, and then Ajax was just like, "What the fuck?" Well, pow!
Yeah, it was nice. As soon as he punched you, I was like, this is part of the thing. It's gotta be.
Just imagine Ajax just with his sword.
Okay. All right. There are 6 weak spots within the city of Periton.
Cool.
Oh, wait, sorry.
2 in the north, 4 in the south.
There are 8.
Okay, 4 in the north, 4 in the south. Okay, then. Irregardless of time, Cecily, whenever people are regrouped, will attempt to map those out.
Okay.
And show everybody where they are.
Alrighty. So with
3
that,
out of 4, guys.
we then pop over to Carasilla and Bianca. 2 of you having a small chit-chat with each other as you make your way to the section dedicated to the Loyalists. As you arrive, you immediately can tell where the Loyalists have been gathering. That is so incredibly clear to you. As you can see, this large building that is just a much larger, more elaborate, more decadent building than the bank you saw in Richka. This place is huge. You can tell that it is a place of business and of wealth that is representative of the amount of people that exist within this city. So, as you enter, there is just an air of class and an air of wealth upon your entering. As all of you, the 2 of you enter, you can see that there are many people dressed in fine clothing with pieces of parchment and books and journals discussing anything from trade deals to ins and outs of the city to deals being made in Belka, anything and everything about wealth, monetary gain, and the wealth that flows through Periton, as little as there may be. And you can see as the 2 of you enter, all of the heads turn to the 2 of you. A tiefling and a gleeman. You see one person in particular, what seems to be a guard for this area, wearing this very finely crafted golden plate armor, broadsword at their side and a shield in their hand. They approach the 2 of you and say, "If you have no business inside the bank, I would request that you leave." You can hear the helmet obscuring part of their voice.
Unfortunately, we have quite urgent matter, not quite with the bank itself, but the city as a whole. Such urgency that I hope you'll see necessitates a break from squabbling between factions. One that demands a united front against a much greater force. An urgency which necessitates bringing in a Damaris here.
You can see the guard just kind of shaking his head out of confusion.
What would you like? Is there someone here specifically you would like to talk to?
Representative. Someone that will listen. Or someone that people will listen to.
You can see the guard nod. And there's 2 more guards that come over to watch over you as the third guard. The first guard who was there that to talk to the 2 of you. Sorry, my chair started to fall. That's fun. Okay. The 2 of you, the guard that was originally there talking to the 2 of you heads off and is gone for a few moments until eventually you can see him walking back with a half-orc man. You see the half-orc man dressed in very fine vestments and clothings, a small book at his side, and you can see that he does have a sword slung around his belt with a small pair of spectacles that are clipped to his nose and a very, very fine haircut. And you can see the 2 tusks jutting out from the bottom of his mouth. As he walks up to the 2 of you, he introduces himself and he says,
Well, consider me very blessed by the gods. Coming here into my fine establishment, I have not only a gleeman, but the Damaris everyone has been talking about. It's a great pleasure to have both of you here, and I would love to hear what you have to say in my private quarter. Please follow me and my lady Damaris. It's a great honor to have you here.
and he'll smile at you. Very kind. However, you can see most of the people in this area seem rather uncomfortable with the 2 of you.
Likewise, thank you.
And I'll go ahead and show Victor.
Fucking 3 for 3 on these portraits. God damn. Loving them.
Please follow me. Tell me, the 2 of you, do you have any hunger that follows you here? Perhaps some thirst? I could have some cucumber sandwiches made up and some tea if you would like.
Please understand that such hospitalities don't exactly have time to take place.
Of course. Always in a rush, the Gleemen are. Very well. Perhaps just for me, then.
And he'll look over to a servant that you didn't see walking with him, but somehow just knew to come over to him, has a journal and is jotting things down.
A platter of cucumber sandwiches and 3 cups of tea, just in case they get thirsty. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Very nice.
And you can see the servant run off.
Please follow me up these stairs.
And you can see this very, very finely crafted, resplendent set of stairs. The two of you walk up behind Victor until you eventually make your way into an office. And you can see it's an office that overlooks the rest of the bank. It actually has 2 windows on each side. One that overlooks the business and meetings, and the other side that actually looks into what look to be the vaults of this bank. And you can see so much wealth locked away behind the vault that he proudly has displayed in his office. As he sits down at his desk, the framing is that all of you look at him, and his back is to the glass wall where the wealth is displayed. So the only thing you see is all of the money and all of the wealth that this man is in control of. As he laces his fingers together, sets them on the desk, and he says,
So, what can I help 2 such fine individuals with on this wonderful day?
Well, you appear to be someone that has quite the capital and resources here. And I suppose that is something that we should like to gain, for your little city is going to be potentially under the attack of fiends. potentially very soon. And I can promise you that no gilded walls that you've got here will protect you from that. What will is an alliance with the other factions you have here. An alliance that's already been brokered with several other people across the city as we speak.
You've already made allies, have you?
As I said, discussions are currently underway. We do already have one, yes, but I'm sure others will follow.
I'm sure the Crown Keepers, that would only make sense, right?
Sure not.
That only makes sense. No hard feelings at all. So, just in the sake of business, as after all, I am a businessman, so that's what I see this as. What exactly did you sell to or promise the Crown Keepers for their aid in this matter?
Well, see, I think it's less a matter of having to sell things there. But you see, I think for them, they see the return of their queen. They see the need for the city to be protected and are responding in kind.
And you can see him stand from his chair and pace a little bit to face the gold.
So then what you're saying then is they asked for nothing. They simply saw the return of the Queen, and they said, yes, whatever the Queen wishes, whatever the Queen asks, we will do, and we will take nothing in return. Is that the case?
I believe that's a reduction of it. I think there's more that certain people look for than just what they can gain in material. I think it's a matter of national identity here.
Yes, but you're missing the
Matter of
question I'm
history.
asking. Did they ask for anything?
They asked to bring order.
Yeah.
They asked to bring order to Periton, given that Periton
They
is still
asked
standing.
to bring order. How?
I'm sure you're familiar with how cities guard work.
Of
Most
course,
cities have them.
they wanted to lead the city. So when Aenwyn
lead-
asked, did she ask to become Lord, or just to run the city?
Neither. She asked that she be in charge of the guard. There has been no official titles. I guess if you are such a man of business, what's your angle?
Exactly, that's the point I was just about to make. Thank you for asking, my lady. My point is, I don't hide behind chivalry or a code of honors to get what I want. You see, I want things. I know I do. So why hide behind something that is just going to get in the way of the things that I want? The same as you approach me now as a tiefling, whereas the woman wearing that ring you are wearing in Richka was half drow. At a certain point, you thought an illusion was the best way to do it, but now you approach being honest. And I do the same thing. All I want is for this city to be successful, to fatten my pockets, and allow people to buy, sell, and trade as they see fit. And, of course, I just want to take my modest part from that, as any investor would. See, I have capital, I have funds, I have soldiers, I have armor, I have mages at my disposal that I'd be more than happy to give to help this demon incursion. You have no reason to come to me and lie about that. Especially being a tiefling, you must know how people see you in this region of the world.
Quite familiar, yes.
Great. So here we are, at an impasse. You've already made deals. You have allies all around the city that are aiming to make deals. And here I am. I can either choose to not make a deal and end up, well, left out of the pie. And who knows, maybe my quarter of the city will crumble and fall, and then all of the wealth I've gained will be gone. And that's no good. So, in all honesty, you've come to a desperate man who just wants to be a part of something that will make sure the wealth behind him will still be there when the dawn comes the next morning. So, the fat trimmed, the illusion out of the way. Let's talk brass tacks, shall we? The door opens.
We're all ears.
The tea is set down. The cucumber sandwich is set down as well. Thank you, Beauregard. That was very kind of you. Thank you for your expediency. Take the rest of the day off. Thank you, Lord Investor. Oh, kids these days, as the small servant runs out of the room. Door shuts behind the two of you. So, it is impossible to rule out that one day you'll reclaim the throne. It's just not something that's not going to happen. How long it'll take, how many lives will be lost, that's all in the ether. That's all a mystery right now, but it'll happen. And I recognize that. And judging from how you've approached the situation, I think that you would make a great queen and a great leader.
Thanks for the flattery. What would you like?
All I want is the promise of several trade deals before we get too carried away. You see, my queen, my lady, I would like to assist you in bringing order to the financial systems of Bella Clara. When all is said and done, I would like to be your master of coin. I don't need a spot on the council. I just want to help you manage the money that the kingdom takes in.
And what have you done besides standing in front of all of your wealth? I can see that you are successful, but to be fair, I don't know you and you don't know me. Caracilla doesn't know you either, and I trust her above literally most people in existence. Can you tell me why we should give you this? I feel as though I am in a spot where I have to earn people's trust. I should also have the same respect given to me.
Of course. That only makes sense. To just take my word on that would be foolish. Once again, proving yourself a very wise queen. Tell me, Gleeman, you've traveled much of this world, have you not?
Decent chunk.
Tell me, what is it that you think plagues most cities?
I feel like it depends on your city. I think that's the thing that plagues most city the most, thinking that each can be dealt with the same.
Exactly. You are quite a wise Gleeman, wiser than any I've met, that's for sure. That's the issue. I could tell you each and every little thing I've done for Periton, but they might seem small, inconsequential, but integral to the health of this city. You see, we ran into an issue several years back. We had drug smugglers coming into the city, specifically through vegetable salesmen. What they would do is they would ensure their illicit drugs could be sold and handled throughout the city because there were certain limitations set in place that, due to a famine several years before that, vegetables and fruit were sold at an exponentially low rate with no taxes. So what they would do is they would smuggle the drugs into the city because of the state of panic most people have towards famines. And they would sell them. And there were these illegal drugs from far off in the Gemstone Archipelago, from Afara, from Cartasia that run rampant through Periton. By imposing a small tax and strengthening those checkpoints on any given route, we effectively cut out the drug trade entirely within Periton. All by imposing a simple 5% tax on any fruit or vegetable sold within these walls. Now, I could say I've raised taxes, and I'm sure that's what some people would tell you. But you know what I did with that money? Sure, some of it is here behind me, but you have to understand that I don't keep this money here because I enjoy looking at it. Honesty, of course. I do enjoy looking at it, but coins and gold and wealth shouldn't burn a hole in your pocket. You need to know when to spend it and what to spend it on. The sewers through most of the city are completely destroyed, worthless for the most part. But slowly and surely, within this quadrant of the city, we've been repairing them, and the health of the citizens in this part of the city over the past 6 months have improved. The smell of rather unsavory things is nowhere near as present in this quarter of the city because of a small tax. One of many things I've done in my 15 years living in Periton.
Why
I
is
must
it just?
say,
Well, I was
it's
gonna
good
ask.
to hear. It's good to hear that you seem to be willing to give back to the people. But I think there's still the question of what exactly all this is for. Is that your tax then? If you help out in this invasion, in this front from fiends, is your tax then to become some kind of, what do you call it, coin keeper?
Exactly.
For the Damaras, should they retake the throne?
That is all I want to be. I want to help
But-
manage the money within the kingdom.
Oh, well, helping manage the money can work, but I believe that it also comes with the conditions that we don't know entirely what the structure of the Damaras will be once it is in place. It's yet to happen. Can't guarantee places, roles, anything like that as of such. But I think the idea of trade and having someone that knows it well, someone that has the right brain for that kind of thing, that is still something that we'd be looking to get. And I dare suggest that if you're able to prove yourself, as it were, with what's going to be happening in this city, show that you are able to make the right investment. Invest in this city in all that you can, so that this invasion is staved off, so that it is unsuccessful, so that this city remains as it is, any damages are rebuilt. Then perhaps we can talk about having positions like that. See, you don't have a lot to bargain with here. Either this city falls, you lose everything, or this city stays, and well, admittedly, there's not much to gain as of yet. All this will be is a promise. And so we need to have more than just support in that it would gain for you many things, many roles, many positions, I'm sure, much gold and all that. What you need from you is a guarantee that then this city will survive, that its people will continue to be protected as well. But you understand you can't be asking for much when everything you have currently can fall. So, we can't give you any guarantees. Only perhaps promises. Strong ones at that. But we need proof first.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check, Caricilla.
'22.
22. Okay. I hear you, and I'll listen. You see, I want this to be a long-standing, long-term, profitable deal between both parties. As a gesture of good faith towards our relationship and the future of it. What we can sacrifice to help defend the rest of the city, on top of our quadrant, we will. Which I would estimate that's about half of our forces. Around 300 well-armed, well-trained soldiers. The other 300 will stay here to help defend our quadrant. But those other 300 can go with, well, wherever you deem is necessary for them. The only thing I request, this is a gesture of good faith, but of course, it might help to ease some of the other investors, because I'm not just speaking for myself, I speak for a group, that at least, should it come to it, should Periton fall due to the demons, and should I survive, that the Queen will do whatever she can to honor the help I gave, and establishing me as an investor in another city, somewhere else, within the Old Kingdom.
Well, I mean, as I said, we can only promise so much. And I think that once all is said and done here, we can have negotiations as to what happens about any further deals. And ones that will be backed by how you've acted during the siege in the city, during whatever happened. I mean, there's something to be said beyond just gold, the value that words have.
I will say, I think Caricilla also is going based off of the fact that we only know a snippet of how you work. And would you model yourself after the ways of Bella Clara, or where are your priorities? Your investors, your people, yourself?
My priorities would be in whatever you wish, my queen, but the issue is,
And at that point, out the window that overlooks the bankers, you can see people starting to whisper back and forth, people starting to talk, starting to shout, people running into the building as just barely you can see this tinge of red sort of echoing out into the room. And you can assume what that means. And you can see that Victor, he sort of stands at that point, seeing people run in, and he says,
It seems as though our time is up. I understand what you're saying. But if I am to go to those people in charge of the fighting, in charge of commanding these troops, and in charge of investing in them, and just to say, let's do this just because they're not going to do it, I would be willing to. I want to make that very clear. But it's not just about what I am willing to do. I need something in writing that will affirm that you will do what you can for us.
Bianca's gonna look to Carasilla, and then she's gonna look back to him. I think your investments in another city, should this one fall, will be very useful. And I just want to make it clear that we are unsure of what form of government necessarily will be taking place. But if you would like that position, I just need you to be willing to work with me to make this place the most ideal it can be for its people. But I can give you that position.
thank you. And you can see he, during part of this time, he was sketching out something, writing out forms, scratching out parts, as during a little bit of the talking. And he does slide you a form and hands you and Carasilla both quill and ink. And just briefly reading through the form, just seeing it, it's not overcomplicated. It's not nearly as bad as the contract you remember, Bianca, that Brendan Fisher had.
Oh boy, that man.
It generally states that what you have done and what you will do is, in some way, the investors, specifically that of Victor, in some way, shape, or form, for dedicating his troops, his resources, and his capital in helping defend Periton, he will be justly rewarded for that after the city has been saved, in whatever way the Queen of the Old Kingdom deems fit.
So it's not just a blank check kind of thing.
No.
Okay.
And you know, Carasilla and Bianca, from your interaction with investors, like, there are some that are extremely money hungry, but there are some that are more well-mannered and balanced. And just from your interaction with him, of your passive insights, you would get that Victor is probably the best investor you could have got in this city.
He seemed kind of chill, so I was vibing a little bit, so
Okay. All
I'll
right.
sign it.
Sign.
Unless Carasilla seems some sort of a way about it, Bianca would sign it.
I mean, yeah, as long as it is a thing of just, you know, it is determined what's deemed fit by the Queen. Like, it has that kind of stipulation where it's very open-ended on ours.
Yeah, and it's up to the Queen to what is fair.
Yeah.
So that could mean that, Bianca, you could really fuck him over. You could give him, like, a house in a city.
Oh, poor man. Yeah.
Do it.
So, yeah,
I mean,
so as long as nothing here seems like it's come something shady from him, Carasilla would be willing to sign it. Like, he's not trying to, like, gain too much or, like, really use it to, like, really gain it all.
No.
Then she'd be willing.
Okay, all right. Both of you sign away. Carasilla, you sign as a witness to what you saw here today. He signs as well. Form validated. And at that point, the glowing eventually, as all of you are sort of beginning to run out of the office and Victor running out with you, you can see in the sky, in different places, there are these different glowing spheres that eventually crack and tear open. And let me go ahead and reveal where these cracks are. 1, 2, 3. So 3 of them are roiling balls of flame that exist in the air. And the 3 others are ice.
Uh-oh.
And you can see that none of them exist within the Crown Keepers. The only 6 that open are in the sections of the Loyalists, the Arboreal Exiles, and the Basilisks.
Oh shit!
As those
These shady
where's the rest of the
motherfuckers!
Huh?
Because aren't these the only 2 in the Loyalist? They don't have
2 in the Loyalists, but none in the Crown Keepers.
Yeah, none in the Crown Keepers.
How it feels to chew 5 gum.
Yeah, so
Betrayal.
So there's no portals that open within the areas of the Crown Keepers. As deals have been made, as the Loyalists, the Arboreal Exiles, and the Basilisks have all agreed to help defend the city, we now run into an impasse. As the cracks and tears begin to open, you can see demons and devils, fiends dropping from these portals, beginning to attack the city. You can see from all of your perspectives, Magnus, Bataille, you guys don't see Ainwin, but Magnus, Bataille, and Victor, they all begin to shout out in different areas, instructing soldiers, captains, what have you, to go and to fight and to stabilize these areas. But now we run into a very, very difficult situation. As the rifts open, as demons and devils begin to attack the city, our party members are separated from each other. Luckily, all connected through earpieces. But as the demons set forth, as they begin their attack on the city, as all of you now have allies within the city to help you defend it, but with no time to have organized your forces, we'll see how well the defense takes place. And on that note, all of the party members separated into 3 separate chunks, forces rallying, getting ready to fight. That is where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session.
Nice!
Woo!
Very
Alrighty.
cool. Some big yikes vibes going on.
So you said we don't see a win, not because she's not helping, but just because we're not there.
Yeah,
right?
she's helping. Eildon would see her. The Crown Keepers are by far the best set up for an attack, but they were ready for an attack mostly in their section. And now there's nothing there. So now they're kind of scattering to get to where they need to be. So
the most prepared that's why.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. If I saw a quarter of the city that was ready for me, I'd go around.
Yep.
No beef, Issen. Good move.
And also, you all spent a lot of time. Luckily, because all of you were able to get to amicable agreements with each group, hopefully they won't take it too poorly that the only section of the city that wasn't attacked was the one that belonged to the Crown Keepers.
We couldn't control this.
No, but...
I understand.
Yeah,
we
it's
couldn't
rough.
control it.
It's rough. And look at that. The session wasn't even that short. It was 3 hours as opposed to 4. Look at that. Oh, isn't that nice? Okay, thanks for playing, everybody. I hope that you had fun. I know I did. Thanks for watching, everybody. Shane, it was good to see you in the chat. Sorry I didn't say much, considering they were on a time crunch. I didn't want anybody to get too mad at me, so I decided not to. You two raid. I think mayhaps. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So I will say that next week we will have Salamander Coast as well. Very excited for that. And all of you should strap in. Try and be here, all of us, because I was a little late today for the session starting. Try and be here as on time as possible. Because I have a feeling that the next probably 2 or 3 sessions are going to go a little bit longer. And that probably also means that I'm not sure how common breaks will be over the next 2 or 3 sessions. So be ready for that.
Bucket. I don't have a bucket for anybody watching.
So
just fucking joke. Okay.
Time to go hard the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It is. It's going to be a lot. So with that, trying to think if there's anything else important to say beforehand. All of you are already level 10, so you've got that going for you. And
we're not level 11 now?
No, wouldn't that be funny?
I heard level 11.
I heard level 11 too.
Whoa.
For all
Everyone
having a
else heard
conversation.
11-11?
Yeah.
Cecily, we got to the city and she was like, "Oh God, I know 2 more spells." And then she talked, to a guy and went, "Oh God, I know 2 more." That'd be funny.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, level 10 for right now, and we'll see what happens over the course of the next few months. So, thank you for watching, everybody. Hope that you enjoyed. I know I did. Be sure to check in next Tuesday for the continuation of the Salamander Coast. Next Saturday for the continuation of the Isles of Iverion, as they're also in, they're going to have some fun times. A Magic the Gathering, Kingdoms and Castles tournament. It's going to be so fun in Isles. Yeah. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Bye now.